Hi class, how you guys doing? My name is Michael Maldonado. I am your instructor for our GRAF 480 Senior Portfolio class coming up starting here very quickly next week, the 13th of July. I wanted to create this video, just kind of show you around the class a little bit. This class is set up a little bit differently than what you might be used to. And the main difference is that most of the information in this class is located in the course announcements. And you might ask yourself why I've elected to include most of the information in the course announcements. And so the reason being is this class has a ton of resources, a lot of videos, a lot of outside links, a ton of resources for your edification and learning the process and the techniques associated with self-promotion. There's so much resource in this class that I thought it would be a good idea to create a sort of a central hub, a repository, if you will, where you can find all of the resources in one location, as opposed to trying to place different resources within the different modules representing the different weeks of the class. I think by doing that, it would probably create a little bit of confusion in the case that you wanted to find a specific resource as you're working. So you don't have to go back and dig into the class to find that resource. Everything is located right here in the announcements. Okay, so to a high degree, this is your nerve center of the class. Okay, stay engaged with the announcements, guys. I guarantee you, if you stay engaged with these announcements, you'll do very, very, very well in the class, and you'll come out with a detailed understanding of what it takes to promote yourself as a professional, as a graphic designer ready to enter the professional field with the intent of working in that field. The class itself is fantastic, guys. It really is. It's a great class. The good thing about this class, too, it's just great for each one of you, is that it's a very small class. So you're going to have ample individual attention based on your work. Now, one caveat I do want to mention, actually, let me finish on the announcements first. So wherever you are in the class, let's say you're in the content area and you can't figure out where the announcements are, just click this. Just click the class title. That'll take you over to the announcements page. And then to open up all of the announcements, you can either come to the bottom here of the announcements and scroll all the way down to the bottom and say show all announcements, or you can just click this at the top of the page that says announcements, and that'll take you to the announcements area where all of the announcements reside. Now, as you can see, I've got all of the announcements already prepared for this class, but they don't get published until the Sunday before the new week begins. So for example, entering week 2, the announcements will be published Sunday night, so they're there waiting for you Monday morning when you enter the class. Okay, that's really important stuff, guys. I just want to reiterate again that if you stay detailed, if you stay current with the announcements, there's a very, very high degree that you will come out of this class with a very, very in-depth understanding of the portfolio process. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention, and this is really, really important, guys. The final deliverable for this class is a portfolio website. The site is required to be completed using Adobe Dreamweaver. Now, I do want to mention that if you don't feel comfortable in your Dreamweaver skills, you can use Weebly or another web authoring software program now, or application. Now, as I said, the end game here is a working site, all right? Now, that said, you are encouraged to use Adobe Dreamweaver, all right? That is the industry standard tool of choice for assembling websites for a personal portfolio. This class there's a lot for me to do as an instructor because I've got really to keep a finger on the pulse of every student in the class. Paying attention to your branding techniques, paying attention to your work for edit, what you're going to include in the site, your resumes, your cover letters, etc., etc. There's a lot for me to keep track of, and there's a lot for you to do, all right? To a very high degree, your success in this class is going to be how well you personally interact with the elements in the class and the resources. There's not a whole lot of instruction for me per se, but it's a very busy class for me as I'm reviewing and suggesting improvements in all of your work from your cover letter all the way clear down to the pieces that go into your portfolio. That said, and saying that the final deliverable is a Dreamweaver site, if you're not confident in your Dreamweaver skills, you might consider it an alternative, a different web authoring application. It's really important for you to understand that I won't have time, nor is it within the scope of this class, to give you tutorial advice or to do code troubleshooting in Dreamweaver. There's just not enough time for me to do that, as I have to go through all of the work for each of the students in the class. Now, this is a relatively small class, so that's a good thing. But if you do have questions about Dreamweaver, I would say go to the web and try to find your results there. I'll certainly try to help, but I cannot guarantee I can give you the time that is needed to troubleshoot coding in your Dreamweaver sites. Okay, after all, this is a portfolio class and not a Dreamweaver class, so let's stick to portfolio. Okay, and I just want to bring that out up front, okay, because as we move through the class, we're going to start getting busier and busier and busier. I highly recommend that you go ahead and start your sites early in the class. Okay, really important. All right, guys, that's what I have. And I just wanted to get this out to you before the class started so you kind of have an idea of where we're at, where we're going, and how the class is set up, etc. As you enter class Monday morning. Okay, again, guys, listen, I'm a really super engaged instructor. I'm in every day. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, let me know, man. I'm a click away, and you won't be waiting for me at all. All right, fantastic, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, please reply right to this email. But welcome to the class, and I can't wait to get started. Thanks, everyone.